We're doing the Underwater Life and Lyrics video today. Now, this is going to be a two-part episode. So there's going to be a part one and a part two. So I'm going to use this lyric breakdown episode to focus on men's mental health. You're about to see part one. What is up, everybody, and welcome once again to Life in Lyrics. I am recording artist Ducado VeGA, and this is where we get to take a deep dive into the lyrics of my songs. Some of your favorites, some you may not know, but we are taking a deep dive. Today, I don't want to waste time. We are getting into my song, Underwater. That's right, Underwater. We're doing Underwater today, and it is truly a beautiful deep dive. And I want to specifically point in the direction of men's mental health. So very important, but I think that it's a subject and a thing that is underserved when it comes to musicians, when it comes to fathers, when it comes to brothers, uncles, grandfathers, you name it. And I want to specifically dedicate this episode to men's mental health and to men's mental well-being, because we go through stuff too, and we deal with stuff all the time. And sometimes it's, you don't know, people don't know, but you know, we spread the love, and we try to keep the wheels rolling for our family and for our loved ones. So I'm going to dedicate this to the men, the guys, the fellas today. Ladies, stick around though, because you want to hear. You definitely want to hear. This affects you as well. Here we go. All right. Underwater. It's a cool song that I wrote back in 2022. I was going through a crazy time with music, creation, relationship, personal relationship, and a host of things that were just kind of coming at me like a barrage. This song is everything. And backstory on this song, I almost didn't release this song. After I recorded it and I listened to it, you know, I was saying, wow, this is really, really personal. And it was so personal, it spooked me a little bit. And I was like, do I really want to release this? Do I really want to show this level of vulnerability? But yeah, it was very necessary. I changed my mind quickly, and you get Underwater. It's out already. You can get it on any of the streaming platforms. Also, you can check it out on YouTube as well as my official website, DucadoVeGA.com. Here we go. Deep dive time. Verse 1. What am I supposed to do to get close to you outside of ghosting you? Learn from a boast or two. And that is when that line is symbolic of when there is detachment, or a detachment has come about in a relationship, and you do everything in your power to find the common ground, to get the bridge to cross back over. And you get to a point where, I won't call it desperation, but you say, if you're really invested, I'll do anything to save this. And so, you know, even if you have to go silent, you know, because sometimes that's what it takes. And I know that at the time I pulled inward, I turned inward. I went into a shell because it was tough. It was a long-term situation that I had been in, and it was really hard knowing that was going to end, because it was getting to that point to where we both realized we were at an impasse and it was going to end. And learn from a boast or two, because it's sometimes, you know, you're cocky, like, oh, I got this, you know, I can work it out, but you really can't. And you learn from that. Next line, not fucking around with you. Ground and pound is true. Me underwater blue. Me underwater blue. It's really simple. It's not fucking around, meaning we need to fix this because I'm getting beat down. not fucking around with you, ground and pound is true. I felt the beat down. It felt like a UFC beat down. And I was saying, I can't play around. I can't play around with the person who I was in the relationship with. I can't play around with my emotions. So I got to figure out what it is. And I said, me underwater blue. And that was simply saying, I feel like I'm sinking. I'm depressed. The word blue. When a person says I'm sad and blue, that's representative of me basically saying I'm depressed and I feel like I'm sinking and I don't know what to do to save this. Next line. My honesty is piercing through. Old heart breaks into new. I feel me shining through. Reflection, I love him too. My honesty piercing through is basically you're going to get my honest opinion, my honest feeling, my honest emotion. There's no longer holding it in. There's no longer holding me in, holding me back. I had to be honest. I had to speak my truth. I had to embrace my truth. I had to live my truth at that moment. Old heart breaks into new. That's got a twofold meaning because it was the old heart breaking into and turning into a new heart. In the same respect, it was feeling old heartbreaks. I know what this feels like when I feel it. And so I was experiencing the heaviness of heartbreaks from days past. I feel me shining through. Reflection, I love him too. Pretty self-explanatory. No matter how hard it felt like, I had to shine through. I had to come through for me. And so I had to stand in the mirror and say, I love him. And I do that every morning, actually. There's a little thing that a gentleman said. You get up, you do your breath work, you brush your teeth with the opposite hand, and then you tell yourself, I love you 10 times. I do that every day. So reflection, I looked myself in the mirror and said, I love him too. I had to start loving myself in that moment in order to make it through. Chorus, you can't believe it, but I'm breathing underwater. Into the deep, no getting sleep from saving daughters. Wow. So I learned how to be in a place of being emotionally submerged, but not losing my breath. Breathing underwater, no pleasing everybody. Basically, when I say you can't believe it, but I'm breathing underwater, I couldn't even believe it because I felt that before and it felt like I was like not going to make it. But then I realized, no, there's a way to do that. Into the deep, no getting sleep from saving daughters. And it is reflective of being in a relationship with who I was in a relationship, but also thought about the fact that I was an emotional support for so many other people, including my daughters, including my mother, including personal friends. So it was like into the deep. In other words, the furthest I could go out into the deep, no getting sleep because I have a reputation of not sleeping. I'm about a 4-hour a night sleeper. So no getting sleep from saving daughters. And there's a play on words in that because my grandmother's nickname was Daughter. So I was feeling all of these emotions and expressing myself and giving to all of these situations. Breathing underwater, no pleasing everybody. I just had to get to the point where I stopped trying to be a people pleaser and an enabler and a rescuer. Verse 2. Are your feelings there to burden bear? How say you dare? I don't understand, you swear. So that was basically a question and an answer. Are your feelings there? Do you feel the heaviness that's on my shoulders, because I'm working to feel the heaviness that's on your shoulders. And I didn't feel like that was happening. How say you dare? I don't understand, you swear. Basically, I was hearing from the person, I don't understand their situation when I was in the midst of it with them. I was in the midst of the struggle, the pain, the anguish, the illness, everything. And so when I say, how say you dare, it was me flipping the words around. How dare you say, I don't understand what you're going through? Yes, I do. I'm here. Now, I may not understand physically, but I understand emotionally and from a spiritual standpoint. Next line. Has this been love affair? Do I still even care? Now, again, play on words. Has this been a love affair, or has this been love or fair? And has it been fair? Do I still even care? And I had to question myself, do I still even give a damn at that point? So, next line. Loyalties for me, for you. Bare feet, no running shoes. Breathe deep, the morning dew. Sips tea, the bitches brew. Loyalty is pretty simple. We're either in this together or we ain't in this together. Period. It is what it is. So, loyalty is a twofold situation in a relationship. It was for me. It was for the other person. Bare feet, no running shoes. It was like running across the desert with no shoes on. But I had to. Also, it symbolized when I would walk out in the morning and ground. I had no shoes on. I would go outside and just stand in my grass in my front yard, and I was grounding. Breathe deep, the morning dew. Again, out in the morning, grounding. Sips tea, the bitches brew. I got a tea that I make specifically, and I call it the bitches brew. It is turmeric, green tea, cloves, cinnamon, and lemon and honey. So that is the bitches brew. All right. And then of course you can't believe it, but I'm breathing underwater into the deep, no getting sleep from saving daughters. And I want to use this second to say, look, people, friends, men don't get this candid and open. They don't, because we are discouraged from being vulnerable and open and honest. And I'm going to say to all of my fellas, if don't allow that to be the case, because men hold a lot in and they feel unheard a lot. Men feel unheard a lot, and it affects their mental health. And then they want, grandpa just so grumpy. He a grumpy old man. Or dad is so mean. Dad is not mean. Dad has not been heard. And he knows he can't say it because the minute he cries on top of, I heard somebody say something in reference to this. If he rides in on that white horse and he's like this and he's strong, hero to everybody. But the minute he drops his head and cries on that same white horse that he rode in on, everybody's disappointed. They feel like, wow, he let us down. No, he didn't. He just had a moment and he was human. All right, y'all, that wraps up part 1. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Part 2 coming in just a few days. I will keep you posted on social media. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you so much for your love and support. And just know, stay up, stay strong, stay positive, stay optimistic. We are going to win together. Guys, ladies, all of us, all as one in love, we will win. Don't forget, part 2 coming up, few days. I love y'all. I got to get out of here. And always remember, out of the shadow, we become the light.